309 for that last one, pulled it back. Oh, that wind. So welcome back to another video in this marathon training series. Really excited to take you along this week. It's a bit of a down week for me. I know we're only 2 weeks in, but we got a holiday. So getting today done, which I'll explain in a second. And then I want to talk about, after the next session that you see, 5 of the things that I'm going to be doing different from my last marathon training block. Now, I like to take my holidays as serious as my running, so when I get down there later today, which is Dawlish, I plan to only do 1 run this week. I am committed to my running, but I'm also committed to my family, and I don't like running too much on holiday. I feel like my family give up enough for me, especially my wife, to sit and, well, run and then sit and edit and do all this stuff. So I can't wait to switch off. I haven't properly had a, let's say, a real down week with limited running since London Marathon. So with that in mind, we kickstart today before we head down with our medium long run, which is going to be 80 minutes today, and I'm getting this done. Got out the door at 5:40, so getting it done before hopefully anybody wakes up. And so good morning, welcome to Thursday, welcome to the main event. This is 6x K, this is where we see what we are made of, although telling you now, after 2 days off and a lot of sun, I do not feel like this is going to go well today. Don't get me wrong, I'm having a blast on holiday, and we've been lucky with the weather so far. Today's the first overcast day, but we've been sat on the beach for 3 days. My wife was throwing up last night because of, I reckon, sunstroke. It has been quite warm and I feel quite weak today, so I want to get 6x K done strong. The goal is to see if I can hit 16 flat pace, or just under, like 309 to 311 per K pace. That'd be amazing. Obviously I fell short on that 3 weeks ago. I hit it for 3Ks and then started to tail off, and that showed in my recent race. So I wanted to see, after a bit of rest, if I could do it today. I did say 5x K, didn't I? Not 6, 5x K. So let's cross the road, let's head on down to the warm-up area. There we go. It's a bit of a long warm-up to get here, but we're here. So there's this house here behind me, which kind of starts the K-Rep route, I think. The sea, the train line, and this road here. So it looks quite single track here, and it is very, very gently up. I mean, marginally, and then it dips off and goes very gently down and then flattens out and it widens out as well. So it should be good. Now, I had absolutely, it felt ridiculously still on the way down here, like no wind. And it's windy now, which makes me go, I knew it, I had a tailwind on the way here. I'm sure I did, because my warm-up was super quick and super low heart rate. I've just checked now. So I think we're gonna have a bit of an industrial estate situation where we've got a tailwind, headwind. But do you know what? Let's enjoy this. We're on holiday. It's been a great one so far. And I will take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to Saysky for sponsoring this training series, this week's video and the training series in general. Move here, point here, FOD Runner 15 gets you 15% off Saysky items. Now this is some new kit that they've sent me, I think, from the upcoming autumn winter range. I'm matching today, which is awesome. Obviously I keep saying it every single week, these combat shorts are just the bee's knees. I love them. I'll be racing the marathon in them. Not sure which colorway yet, but I'll be racing in them. And yeah, just in general, the kit is absolutely fantastic. I'm so grateful to have their support. Loving the vest this morning. I tell you what, it's super humid, so a vest is very, very, very much appreciated. I'm wearing some of their racing socks as well, along with the Asics Noosa Tri for this workout. So Saysky, you're amazing. Really appreciate your support during this training series. And don't forget, FOD Runner 15 gets you guys at 15% off Saysky items. Right, drills and strides done. Huge headwind this way, huge headwind. Obviously a huge tailwind that way. So let's let that reflect in the splits. I'll try and hit 16 pace that way, or sub. but I definitely won't hit it this way. If we can be consistent over these 5, I will be over the moon. Let's get this one underway. Let's see what we can do. There we go, first one done, 3:08, 60-second jog recovery. Oh boy. Wow, 3:18, I forgot, didn't realise it was quite the uphill that it was, plus the headwind. Jeez Louise. .312, slightly over, definitely overcooked that first one. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Oh wow. Oh, the wind. Going off too fast. Plus the wind on 2 and 4. Jeez. Last one. .309 for that last one. Pulled it back. Oh, that wind was not welcome today. Positives from that, I got 5k worth of work done, which is something I didn't do 3 weeks ago. Number 2, finished strong. Happy with that. As I said, 1, 3 and 5 were gently downhill, bit of tailwind, and 2 and 4 were uphill and headwind, quite strong headwind, which means the tailwind was quite strong. So not really too sure what I can read from that. Obviously I would just probably say average it out in the middle somewhere. Let's just say 313, 314 per k for the session, just slap bang in the middle. I'll take it. I'm happy with that. As I said, happy to get 5 done, feeling stronger than I was 3 weeks ago, feeling like the speed is still just as hard, but I've got a little bit more, which is good. So yeah, overall no complaint. And so now what I want to do is talk about the 5 things that I'm going to be doing differently during this marathon training block to the last one in particular, and some of the similarities from the marathon training block before, which was Newport. That's the one that went really well. So I'll get this cool down done, get back to the caravan, let's have a chat. So we go back from the workout. That was a good nearly 10 miles done. The warm up and cool down ended up being around 3.5 miles, but it was worth it to get down to that part of the trail, which is pretty runnable, pretty good, relatively flat. It was just the wind today, that was all. I got 5k's worth of work done, which I'm very happy with. You saw obviously the footage out there. I was suffering on the way back on those reps 2 and 4, but that is what it is. You just can't do anything about the wind. I just had to run within myself a little bit so that I got the distance done. Garmin's telling me for 5k around 16:11, basically around 5:13 per mile. And reps 1, 3 and 5 I'm happy with. I felt strong. Naturally you're going to with a little bit of tailwind and a slight downhill, so that helped. Obviously the way back was tough, but I was happy to get that 5th one done, and I was happy to get the 5th one done in the time that I got it done, because I really did feel with the 3:17, wasn't it, was the second one, and 3:23 was the 4th one. I was obviously fading on those ones coming back up, so it was nice to finish strong. It was nice to feel like if I had to, I could have pushed up on a 6th one back up. What the time would have been, who knows, but I felt quite accomplished that was done. The distance was done, paces just weren't quite there. So I'm happy with that. And again, that's going to come with marathon training. A bit more strength is going to be built as the miles get longer and that sort of thing. So just want to keep that top end speed in where I can over the next few weeks. So happy with that. Box ticked. That's the holiday pretty much done now. Let's go through those things that I said at the beginning I won't be doing again during this marathon training block. And just so you have a bit of context, this all comes back to my previous London marathon training block I did earlier this year. A quick summary of that: I have a few regrets over that training block. I came into the year saying, last year I only trained for one marathon. This year I want to go back to a spring and an autumn marathon. London was always going to be not for fun, but I wasn't going to set myself any goals. I just wanted to get in good shape and run it. I said that back in January before I even jumped in. I think I said that actually in December before I jumped into the training block properly. And then the autumn one, which I'm doing now, which is Abingdon, that's where I'm going to set myself a goal. That's where I want to go sub 240. I want to really push myself with this block. So London didn't obviously go to plan. I won't bore you with the details. I've been told that I talk about certain things too much, so we'll keep it short and sweet. I got ill in the middle of it, and then I pushed too hard too soon on the way back, and that's where I have a big regret. I think not all of us can't complain that we get ill. It happens. I have kids as well, so they bring stuff home from school and nursery, so a lot of illness happens over the winter. I guess it's what you do after excuse me, that counts, and I think that's where I failed myself. I think I failed myself big time earlier this year. And I think what happened was I had a chunk of time off, and I came back and I got an easy week done, and I started to feel okay, but then I pushed the following week and I relapsed for another, I had like another 5 days off. My, everything, I just got quite ill again, and then I pushed back again. And I think that was a real sign. Like, I'll be honest with you, I haven't been that ill in a very long time. I can't remember the last time I was that ill, and I should have just put the brakes on things for another week. I should have either just waited another week to start running, or just had another easy week until I really felt like it started to click. And what happened was, effectively, I rushed things too much. Yes, I started clocking up some long runs that the distance was good. Yes, I was getting into my head that it's okay, I can do the distance. That's all I've said I wanted to do for London. And I think that was the danger point for me, because I said that I wanted to do it for fun and to kind of give it a good go, but no pressure at all. I was told myself, well, if you can do the long runs and you can get round, then that's all that you wanted to do, so you can go and do it. And I accomplished it. I did it. I did hit the wall quite badly towards the end, as I have on many other occasions, but I just wasn't in the right shape, the right mindset. And you could probably tell from some of the videos it was being forced. My head had been turned already about a month before that. I was just really looking forward to the speed block afterwards, and as much as I'm like that anyway, I feel like it was even more exacerbated at that point. So there's a lot of things that I want to take from that I really don't want to do this time. And the number one thing is just not to rush things, and just to take things in the usual progression format that I do. Just build, rather than rushing to try and get fit for something. If I'm not there, then I'm not there. Just don't force anything. I've had what I class as one of my best summer training blocks. I didn't hit my 10k time, but I got my 5k time down way more than I anticipated, and I'm really happy with that. I feel fast, I feel strong, and I feel the fittest genuinely that I've ever been, which is a great feeling to have. Now the important thing is to transition from this point smoothly, gradually, and build it sensibly. And so again, back in London, I came back from that illness and I rushed, and I got straight back up to some big mileage as quick as I could, and it just doesn't work like that. Yes, I got myself aerobically okay, but I wasn't marathon sharp or anything, and that's where I fell down at that point. So for me, on my Newport block, when I look back at that, it was a nice gradual build up, adding in the right workouts here and there, gently increasing the mileage as we go through. Now, week one, I started at 70 miles, which is the biggest starting point that I've ever started a marathon block at, but that is going to be the baseline. I don't intend to just sit at 70 and not go any higher. I do intend on increasing that as we go through the block. So you'll see as the weeks progress, things will start to chip away, and that's going to be really important. And number two, I set myself a Battersea Park marathon backup plan, which is in November. And what that's done for me instantly now is kind of alleviate any worry or pressure that if I get ill in this block or injured in this block or anything happens, I'm not going to repeat the same mistakes that I did in that London block. I'm going to be able to just take a step back, and if it takes, if I have to scrap a marathon, then I have to scrap it. It's not a big deal. But I think if I need to take 2 or 3 weeks off and I feel like I'm going to rush myself into shape for Abingdon, then I'm going to take my foot off the gas. I will park Abingdon, I'll sell my place, and I'll jump into the Battersea Park Marathon in November. It's not ideal. It's like a lot of loops of Battersea Park, but I'm happy with that. That's okay. It would be better temperatures anyway. It'd be more boring. There'll be more traffic, but but it is what it is, and I have put that in place on purpose to stop myself from doing what I did back then. So again, that's another thing, number 2, that I'm trying to implement this time. And number 3 is going to be a mileage increase. As I've just alluded to, I'm going to be hitting, or I have hit, I should say, 70 miles for week 1. Obviously this week's a down week, but with my Newport block I started to hit new mileage targets and new mileage heights that I had never hit before, and I should say I have hit them, but not as consistently as I had, and that's something that I want to do this time as well. I want to replicate that, so I want to get closer up to 80 miles during the peak of this training block, maybe a tiny bit more, who knows. But I think for me, what I have to understand is I can't keep running the same volume of miles and expect to get nice big chunks of time off. Yes, you could argue that it can be done. Yes, I know people that do it, but it is obviously diminishing returns. I've stayed around 45 to 55 miles for my speed work blocks for 2-3 years now, and I've stayed around 55 to 65, bordering 70 miles for my marathon training blocks, mainly hovering around the 60-mile mark, again, for the last 2 or 3 years. Something's got to change at this point, and this is the time that it's going to change. So I will be increasing that mileage as we go through. Things will be changing, runs, well, you'll see as we go through, but that's the plan anyway. Number 4 is going to be looking after myself a little bit better. Again, in the Newport Marathon Training block, I did lots of strength and conditioning. I did lots of extras around the outside, lots of stretching, foam rolling, that really helped aid that performance. It got me to 20 miles and I was smiling and feeling great, and although the last 2 miles were pretty tough, I dropped off 20 seconds a mile. It was nothing, and I felt strong in myself. I didn't feel like my form went too much, and it was fantastic. Again, during the London block, I've kept up my stretching and foam rolling. My strength and conditioning has been good since Newport block. Hasn't been great, but it's been good. I still get a couple of sessions in a week, but naturally around that London block, again, when I got ill, that all stopped, and then I only really picked it up in the last 3 weeks. And so what happened there was I loaded up with 2 70-mile weeks plus a load of strength and conditioning, completely overloaded my body all in one go. And again, that was just a panic decision on my part. So for me, here and now, it's already started sort of last week, just getting back to 3 sessions a week, which includes core work and obviously glute work and upper back, the usual stuff that I've done before. Happy to be back in that routine. I've done a little bit whilst I've been away as well, and of course the stretching and foam rolling and massage gun work has never gone. That's always stayed with me, so I'll continue that as well. And at the moment, touch wood, I feel really good. And finally, the 5th thing that I want to mention is I'm going to be carrying on this positive mental attitude that I've had during my summer training series, and that has been to do a little bit more manifestation, a bit of visualization, and a bit more positive talk to myself. I've said it time and time again over the summer. I am a sucker for talking myself out of stuff, out of workouts, out of races. I'm giving myself excuses before I even get there, and it just can be the wrong mindset. It really can be. Now, through the summer, I was telling myself, well, do you know what? I want to go out and run that workout around this pace because I know I can. I've proved that time before in training, and I believe in myself, and 9 times out of 10, that's really helped. And if I haven't quite hit that target, there's been a good reason as to why, and I can tell myself, do you know what? You did a bloody good job based on the fact that you had all of this going on. Maybe you didn't get enough sleep, maybe you were feeling a bit tight in the back, whatever it was. So that positive mental attitude has played a huge role in my 5k training, in the 10k work and that speed work, and I'm going to translate that. I'm already telling myself when I wake up in the mornings for my long runs, well, visualizing the sort of paces that I want to hit, what I know I can hit, what my heart rate will be, trying to feel confident in what I'm doing. And so far it's worked really well. Week 1, I was basically before every single workout telling myself, well, I think you can run around this sort of pace, and I know you're going to feel that's comfortable, and I know you're going to think that's realistic for marathon training, and it's worked so far. Obviously it's a long journey through 12 weeks, however, I've got to say it worked for the 10 weeks during the summer training, and it's going to work this time as well. Positive mental talk, I think, for any runner is so important. So there we go. Those are the 5 things that I do not want to happen again from the last block, and things I want to implement this time and do differently or do the same as Newport. It's really important during a marathon training block that you lay your stall out early. You know, you talk to yourself about it, you put all these plans together. It's so important. So we'll wrap the training series up here, guys. It's been a good one this week. I've had a good downtime. I'm ready now to lock in for the final 10 weeks. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. I'll see you on the next one.